Hello and welcome to chapter 7 of the Plain Truth 12 channel. This is your host Luke. Now, jumping right in, the European Union has finally dropped its digital catastrophe certificate. Now, essentially, what this is the digital catastrophe certificate is a digital proof that a person has either been vaccinated against the catastrophe 1.9, received a negative test result, or recovered from the catastrophe 1.9. The key features of this certificate is it comes in a digital and or paper format. So digital as in it comes on an app on your phone, or paper as in it's printed and given by a health authority to you to carry when you are traveling. It comes with a QR code on that digital application. It's free of charge. It's in the national language and or English, safe and secure as always, and it's valid in all EU countries. So essentially, how you get it is given by your country's test center or health authority or through an e-health portal application. Now, the European Commission has given a map of the countries that are in various stages of applying for this digital certificate, and all of the EU member states are getting involved in this scheme. This, which I will put in the description, provides a breakdown on which stage various countries are at. But if you go through all of them, they have effectively connected pretty much every single. The only pretty much all countries. The only people that are waiting are some of the ones that are outside of the EU. So essentially, how this will help the current predicament the European Union is under is essentially it will allow the European Union to lessen the restrictions that member states are facing by facilitating this certificate. It will allow people to travel safely, and I put that all in quotation marks because essentially, as I've put it out in previous episodes, it's Europe that will be driving a lot of the technological and digital advancements in society, especially as it pertains to the catastrophe 1.9 crisis. So essentially, how this certificate works, and it is quite straightforward. The EU certificate contains the QR code with a digital signature to protect it against falsification. When the certificate is checked, the code is scanned and the signature is verified. Each issuing body, as in hospitals, test centers, health authorities, has its own unique key, and all of these are stored on the database. And the European Commission, which is the presiding governing body over the European Union, has built a gateway through which all certificate signatures can be verified across the European Union. The personal data of the certificate holder does not pass through the gateway, as this is not necessary to verify the digital signature, as always. But as you will realize, when it comes to cyber attacks, there will always be a loophole in such statements. But continuing on, the European Commission also helped member states to develop national software and apps to issue, store, and verify certificates, and supported them in the necessary tests to onboard the gateway. Now, will citizens who are not yet vaccinated be able to travel to another EU country? Yes, the answer is. The EU Digital Catastrophe Certificate should facilitate free movement inside the EU. It will not be a precondition to free movement, which is a fundamental right in the EU. The EU Digital Certificate will also prove the results of testing, which is often required under applicable public health restrictions. The certificate is an opportunity for member states to adjust the existing restrictions on public health grounds. Now, although the official answer is yes, as in it will, people who are not vaccinated will still be allowed free movement, that does not stop individual member states from refusing entry for people who have not got the necessary certificates, because each individual country has their own laws, regardless of if the country is within the European Union. Now, continuing on to this next article, again, this is what it will look like if you have downloaded it on a digital version that's seen on the right. It will have your QR code, various bits of information, the type of vaccine you've got, because obviously there's the Moderna, there's the Johnson & Johnson, there's all different variants. So it will have all that information on there. Your paper version will also be a mirror image to the digital one. And again, as stated here, it'll have your name, surname, date of birth, the member state issuing the certificate, and the QR code. Now, there was something interesting that was stated in this article all the way at the top, on SchengenVisaInfo.com, who announced on June the 1st. Oh, pardon me, it's here. SchengenInfo.com reported that a vaccine would for sure become mandatory for those wishing to travel throughout the Schengen area once it is approved and available. And this is pretty much how it's going to be. As time goes on, everyone's going to be using this form of verification, and the ones that do not are either going to be going through strenuous and quite difficult cross-border examinations. You might have to do an airport test, you might have to go through questioning, you might have to do all sorts. So it's, as I've said, the word convenience is always going to be used and as an incentive to get people on board with certain legislation and certain activities. So this is the European Union's step in progressing their catastrophe 1.9 strategy. Now, one more thing before closing is with regards to Israel. And this is an example of the measures member states will go in facilitating their strategies when tackling the catastrophe 1.9 issue, where Israel to use electronic tracking bracelets to enforce quarantine measures. Now, this was reported quite a few months ago. I've known about this for a while, but it neatly ties into the extremes of where this will go for those who do not wish to be under certain schemes. And although this is used essentially for those who are entering the country and who need to be in quarantine, now you will be issued with this bracelet, and essentially, if you, and that bracelet is attached to Bluetooth and GPS technology, and if the authorities notice that you are going places outside your designated zone, you risk being apprehended and consequences will follow that. Now, this is an example of what it looks like, and you can see the smile on his face, but what people are not realizing is the technological agenda behind all of this. Essentially, what is happening in society is there's becoming an increasingly narrowing gap between humans' relationship with wearable technology, and that it is now becoming a norm for you to attach most of your life to technology, be it through your smartphones. But now it's something that's becoming wearable via the watches, via ankle bracelets, via various other schemes. Now, eventually, this is going to culminate to certain forms of digital identification as seen through the EU's Catastrophe 1.9 certificate. Now, this was just a quick update regarding recent proposals. This is the European Union, so this is a massive thing. This isn't something to take lightly, pardon me. But yes, I will be continuing to monitor how this progresses. Thank you again for joining me on this chapter. I do hope you join me on the next installation. Goodbye.